Hi, AT from CNC at Home. It's February already, and at the end of February, my brother and I get together and do what we call Geek Weekend. For the last few years, I've done some sort of project, typically with the laser, some sort of memory kind of thing of the event. And we did dog tags. I did last year, did can cozies made out of wood. I've done coasters. So this year, I was racking my brain trying to figure out what I could do. As I was going through the Template Maker website, I came across this Matchbox project, and I thought that would be a fun one to do. So on top of the box, it could say Geek Weekend. On the side, I could put the date. Then inside the little drawer, that could be or nicknames could be in there. So one for me, one for my brother, that sort of thing. So that was a project I thought I could do. And I went into the more options, looked at the size of it, and really didn't pay enough attention. But I said, yeah, those defaults will be great. And so I went ahead, clicked on SVG, did create, downloaded it, made it. And then when I put it together, I realized that the clearance of 2 millimeters was set, which is huge. So with the little drawer all the way to one side, basically the distance between, if this got pushed all the way to the right there, the distance between the drawer and the outer box would be 4 millimeters. Because the clearance is just right here. It's the clearance between the drawer and the outer side. I also saw that they had a material thickness, and this is about twice as thick as the cardstock that I'm using. So I ended up coming in and redoing this after I made a box and found out how sloppy it was. I went ahead and changed the material thickness. It's about 0.25 millimeters. And on the clearance, it's like 2 millimeters on each side is way too much. So I went with 0.5, make this thing nice and tight. Went ahead and clicked SVG and then clicked on create so I could save the file. The other thing I thought that would be fun to do was down here, if I scroll a little bit, this polygon box. It has a really kind of neat lid, the way that this folds over on itself. And again, looking at the parameters, I just decided that, yep, their parameters are fine. I'll go ahead and print it. This one worked better because there is no material thickness. There's no clearance. And so the sizing turned out pretty well. Again, I did it as an SVG file, so I clicked SVG and clicked Save. I have the link for this down in the description if you want to just click on it. Let's go ahead and open these up in Lightburn and make some modifications and print them out on the laser, then fold them up. Let's head over to Lightburn. Inside of Lightburn, let's make sure I've got the correct laser set, and I do. My material library is here, so I should be all set to go. I just need to read in the SVG file and manipulate it. So let's go ahead and bring that in. As we've seen before with this particular website, we end up getting a bunch of things that we're not going to need for the burn. You can see that over here on the layers. Each color comes in as its own layer. So let's get rid of some of this. When I select these two little things, a whole bunch of things get selected. So let's ungroup that. And we'll try again. See if we can just select those pieces. And I'll click delete. Go ahead and get the rest of this moved up a little bit, or at least up where we can see it. So we have the drawer, and then we have the tray, I guess is what they're calling it. I'd call this the box, and then this is the little drawer that goes in and out of that. Let's do a little bit of switching around here. Let's grab the purple and put that on the black layer. We'll grab the text from both of these. I just did a Control Shift as I selected it. I'm going to put that on my Tool 2 layer. Same with these names, because that is stuff that we don't need to burn. This legal notice we don't need, and just going to kind of clog up what we're doing. So I'll just ungroup these and get rid of those real quick. Now we have our two basic parts. Let's get these internal edges here. I'm going to put those on layer 1. And then these purple layer here, I'm going to get that put on layer 1 or 0. And then the internal pieces, which, yep, I can get them with one click. I'll go ahead and switch those to the 0-1 layer. The 0-1 layer is going to be my etch layer, where I just draw the lines where I'm going to fold. And the black layer will be the one that actually gets cut through. If I right-click on any of these layers, they'll blink. And it looks like I have everything that I want. Move this up out of the way. Okay, that looks good. Let's go ahead and move all these up into our working area and resize the screen. I'm going to make a template of a piece of paper. So I just make a rectangle. I'm going to throw that on tool layer 1 and make sure that my aspect ratio is unlocked and tell it that the width is going to be 11 inches. Lightburn will convert that to millimeters for me. The height is going to be 8.5 inches, and Lightburn converts that for me, and I'm going to lock the aspect ratio. Then that can just go down in the lower left corner, and we can see there's plenty of room for this to fit. Now I want to make 2 of these boxes. What I want to do is figure out how to fit this in here a little bit better. Before I do that, I am going to put some text on there. Let's go ahead and grab this lower one first. And I'm going to press the period key to rotate that 90 degrees. Now let's just get this one moved out of the way for now. We can have this whole thing. We want just all of that. There we go. Get that up in our working area, close to the edge, not right on it. Okay, and then we can zoom in to just this so we can work on that. I want to put text on here. I'll just go ahead to my text tool and type in Geek Weekend. I want to have that centered, so I'll do middle on that. And this should work about here. And then this can be quite a bit bigger. So I'm going to resize from the center and then just start upping my percentage until it gets to be close to the full size of the top. Yeah, something like that looks good. Let's go ahead and put that on the red layer, and that will end up being my etch, which is going to use a different parameter than the etch for the lines. So that's why I put it on a different layer. And we could choose a different font, maybe. I don't know. It can be pretty plain. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll use the elephant font. I'll go ahead and click that. And this is actually a bit big, so let's go ahead and shrink that back down a little bit. Yeah, so maybe something like that. I'm going to go ahead and press Control D, which will duplicate, and then I can move that down so that we're in about the same spot on the back or the front. Who knows which that'll be. Let's go ahead and go back to our text tool and type in 2025, and then we can also do a Control D and duplicate that and just get that down here. Let's go ahead and select all of this. There we go. And press Control D. And that duplicates it. And then I can just slide this over. I'm going to grab this from the corner. And then as I move it, I'm going to have it snap to the corner here. Now if we zoom in, we'll see that those are exactly on top of each other. What that'll do is when we burn this, I have the parameter set to cut that just once. It'll cut both lines at the same time. It should be in my optimization settings. Oh, it's not turned on. Let's make sure that's turned on. So remove overlapping lines. Okay. All right, now we need to deal with this guy. Now this one's going to have a name in it. And if I put it here, let's just zoom in. Go back to text, click on it, and put in Ace. That's my brother's nickname he goes by. Now we just want to resize this from the middle, and we'll make it grow until it gets to be pretty big. Maybe something like that. Now let's take this whole thing, and we'll rotate it, and then we will move it down here. Now that we've got all this, we can duplicate that, slide it over. I will have this corner align with that corner, and then we'll need to ungroup this because I want to change the name. There we go. And the other nickname is Sire. Now we should be ready to burn this as soon as we set our parameters. They might already be set. We do want the fill to happen first, and then we want our lines to happen next, and then we want our burn, the cutout, to happen last. So from our material library, we'll go to cardstock. This is 0.25 millimeter. We're going to cut it out of brown. So our black layer, let's sign. Okay, that's already set. Our blue layer then is going to be an etch from brown. Go ahead and assign that. And then for the rest of this, it will be a dark brown fill where I'll assign it. Okay, all of our parameters look good. So let's get these over to the laser and get them burned out. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. As a warning, I'm actually redoing this project. I've already burned these out, and the layout when I actually did it was a little bit different. I started out with the wrong size boxes because I had the gap in there, and then I ended up redoing the box part but not the tray part. Messed that up a little bit and moved these around. I made some more trays and bases and glue. It just got all messy. And I ended up with a bunch of boxes and a bunch of trays, and it all worked out in the end. Anyway, let's go see how that burned out. The initial design, without changing any of the parameters, was a little loose. It had a 2 millimeter gap or spacing, so the inner drawer has this huge gap there, and it really sloppy. So tried it again. I changed the parameters. So the drawer is now really tight. I basically put a 0.5 millimeter for my gap. I entered my paper thickness this time. I missed that one the first time I did it. And this turned out much nicer. So I want to go through and show you how the folding part works. The main box part is relatively easy. It just has the 4 fold lines, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. What I found for gluing this, I just fold it in the middle and I fold the glue tab like this. So I end up with a flat piece, and I just put a little bit of glue across here. Then I can set this aside with, I'm just using school glue. This is some school glue that had dried out. It was really kind of pasty and gummy, and I ended up just adding a little bit of water to it, and that seemed to loosen it up pretty well. So we don't need a whole lot of glue on here, so just a little bit. I'll spread it around and just fold this over, and we'll take the weight, set it on there. As I was talking about folding, if we fold this direction, it folds easily and nicely. For this particular thing, the name is going to be on the inside, so folding the other direction, a little bit harder, but not too bad. The cool thing about the drawer on this project, no gluing required. So you just bring these tabs in, fold this side up, and then fold it over. Poke that down. And then the tab fit, I just tore it. Shoot. Okay, this one's going to require some tape to fix that. We should be able to just fold this in, and the tab will go into the slot. That's how it's supposed to work. So I'll just repair this one with a little piece of tape. All right, so this is about twice as wide as we need. I'll just tear it in half. And we can just put a piece on here. That should hold it. And then this other side's about ready to go too, so we'll get that taped on. And once this is dry, we'll be able to just slide that on in. It should work as well as this other one. Just give it a quick test. Boom. And this nice little box. Put something in. While those sit and dry, I'll go ahead and get these other boxes folded up. There we go, everything's folded up. These should be dry soon. I can get them all assembled. If you've got any suggestions of what we could keep in here for Geek Weekend, if there's something that might go in here, put that in the comments too. I made these without any particular purpose, so if you've got an idea, that would be appreciated. This is the other container that I got off the website that, look in the description for it. I want to do this for Geek Weekend, and I'm not exactly sure how to fold this one up. It has some odd bends up here on the top. Some are going to fold inside, some are going to be outside. Makes kind of a neat lid. I know what the tabs do, so we'll go ahead and get those folded. I know these long bends, I know which way they get folded. So let's go ahead and get this bent up, see if we can get this together. The trick is going to be gluing these to the bottom and gluing these then to the inside of this. See if I can figure out how to get this bent up. So that's basically how this needs to go. The trick will be getting it done. I'm going to try doing this one first, see if I can get that. And then we'll move on from there. With that seam done, the next step is going to be to get the bottom glued on. Gluing always seems to be the tricky part. Okay, I let this sit for a while, so hopefully the bottom is dry. Okay, so it says Geek Weekend on it, 2025. Let's see if we can get this top to fold in. Yeah, goes like that. Huh, nice. Okay, I can just do a little more work with that, pinch it down a little bit, and that should make a nice little container. Again, have no clue what I'm going to keep in it. If you've got any ideas what would work well in here, won't you put them in the comments below. Well, I hope you liked this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. If you like the content of our channel, think about subscribing. That really helps us out. enjoy doing your CNC at home projects.
Oops.
One thing to keep in mind when you're doing a new project is that you may have to do it more than once to get everything correct. In this particular project, I made a few mistakes. That's why I have so many of these. I was trying to get an equal number of each, and in doing so, I ended up making a sire one where it should have been another ace one. So there would have been, 3 aces and 3 sires, but I ended up with 4. Whatever.